Hello.
Mita,
What you doing, Doris?
you're on the Broski report.
I'm on the Broski report.
I've got an occult
Whoop.
question for you.
Okay,
Okay,
what you got?
what is that solid silver thing that you've always had in your house that's above doorways?
It's just a little plaque that says, "May God bless our home."
Was it blessed by anyone, or is there a significance to it being solid silver? I remember you telling me that one time.
Oh, not really. And it's not silver; it's pewter. And pewter just is just pewter, silver, any of the metals that come from the earth just hold good vibes, and good energy.
Okay.
And so when I move into a home, I like to kind of clear out my home, and I pray over my home, and I also bless it with sage to get
Okay,
out.
that's my
Yeah.
next question is,
Yes.
um, I know that when you do investigations or when move into a new home, whatever, a lot of the, and I've asked you this before but never talked about it on the podcast, a lot of the customs and traditions and I guess rituals are deeply
Mm-hmm.
rooted in Catholicism. You are not a Catholic, nor have you ever been, nor do you want to be.
No.
How do you reconcile that, and why do you give legitimacy to like the Catholic way of cleansing a space when you don't adhere to that religion?
Well, I would probably say because there really isn't a Protestant one per se,
Mm.
and I would and so to if I want to stick to Christianity, then the only other, I guess, default would be the Catholic way of blessing. I guess either a building or a person or whatever. I mean, because it's still, God, it's still Jesus Christ, and it's still trying to keep away bad spirits, in the spiritual realm per se, or bring in the good ones. So I would
Okay.
probably say that's why. And just because traditionally in the paranormal realm, that yes, that's how they've always done it. And I mean, any kind of Christian based protection is welcomed, even holy water. I mean, because that's blessed.
Are
You know,
there not Why do you think there's no like exorcisms in Protestant followings?
hmm, that's a good question, and not one that I've really studied or tried to find out why they don't cover exorcisms. It might be because maybe Protestants don't believe like the Catholics do about. I'm really not sure though. I'm just putting it out there. Maybe being possessed by demons. I mean, you don't really hear that from Protestants as much as you do like Catholics. I mean, obviously because even the Vatican, recognizes possessions,
Hmm.
of souls. So I don't know. Maybe it was just something that Catholics kind of did already, and Protestants didn't need to, I guess, piggyback off of it.
Hmm.
That's what I'm thinking. But I mean, obviously we do believe that there are bad, there's bad juju, bad spirits, and bad demons. But I don't know why. That's a very good question, and one that I'm probably going to research now. Why is there not exorcisms per se, other than asking that, and telling that spirit, that bad spirit, that they're not allowed here, they're not, that kind of thing, not a full exorcism per se. I don't
And
know, maybe that's a priest thing. Maybe that's a Catholic, from way back when. I don't know where it originates from. That would be a good thing to look into, which I will.
yeah, it just doesn't make sense. I mean, if you're talking about Christianity at its core is Christianity. I mean, I know that of course there's so many different differentiations of it, but like if demonic entities exist and that's like a truth, then why is it not? Anyway, my second question is did you ever play with a Ouija board? And do you have a story?
Yes, I have played with a Ouija board, but that was back in the day, way back in the day when I was a teenager and in my 20s. And
Do you think it's real?
as far yes, I absolutely do think
Oh.
it started off as a toy, but I do believe that it can open up portals to invite things into our world that was unable to get in. And I don't know why they came across this and thought it was going to be a toy when you hear so many stories about things that have happened with the Ouija board, especially. I mean, but I will tell you that yes, I have had a run in with a Ouija board as far as when I did a ghost investigation of a personal home a few years ago, probably about 10 years ago, and they had an entity in their home, a demonic entity. We do this preliminary questions where we ask them, tell us the history of the home, tell us history about the people that live in the home, the experiences you've had. And there was a demonic entity in a closet that was,
Oh.
yeah, that would really interfere with the children in the home. And come to find out, the adults in this home were playing with the Ouija board with the children in this closet.
What the hell?
And they didn't tell us about it until we found the Ouija board. And they didn't tell us. They lied to us and said, no, we don't do Ouija board. We found it in the closet. And we said,
Oh.
there's your problem. You have opened up some kind of portal and invited this entity in through this portal.
And not
And
closed it?
and you did not close it, because we asked, tell us what you did with this. And when you don't close it and say no and say, okay, we're done, and do what you're supposed to do, just like the quote game says to do, then you leave it open for that entity to come in and out. It can be just like mirrors or anything else. And so we had to remove it from the home.
How do you
And then
dispose of it?
so there's many ways that you can, but truly you have to have a priest or a pastor, somebody that
Not a
has been blessed by,
Hasbro toy.
I know, that's been blessed by the church, and you have to have a ceremony with it, and you bury it. You can bury it or you can burn it to get rid of it. And you have to actually do the Ouija board to close it out first and then
Oh.
bury it, usually in a cemetery, or you just burn the whole thing and you get rid of the ashes.
The evil
And then after
microplastic.
that, guess what? They didn't have any more problems. Isn't that weird?
Who is on the other side of a Ouija board? Is it always trapped negative energy or negative spirits? Or is it like, does everyone have evil intent on the opposite side of a Ouija board?
No, there's not always evil intent on, because I think that it could be a portal just to try to contact loved ones, just like if you were to do a seance using a crystal ball. You can bring in, or any kind of seance with candles or flashlights. All of those are open doors to letting spirits in. And when those again, piggybacking, evil spirits can come in that way, and they can mask themselves looking like good spirits and they're really evil. So I'm not saying it's all evil, but I'm saying it is just as easy for a bad entity to get through those portals as it is maybe trying to contact a loved one or somebody from the past.
Do you think they're trapped there?
Ooh, sometimes I do. Sometimes I do. I think
Like
that they
unfinished
are trapped.
business?
Yes, unfinished business, and sometimes I really do believe paranormal investigators can help, especially when you have um, psychics with you, and that can help these entities pass over from one realm to the other, and just let go of whatever they might be attached to that's keeping them, in their loop, basically.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't think it's always the case, but I absolutely do think that can occur.
Because there's different types of hauntings, right? I mean, we don't have to get too deep into it, but like a residual haunting versus is that the one where they're trapped in the same
Yeah, like
cycle,
a loop.
a loop?
Yeah, like a residual haunting is one where they don't see you, but you can feel them, and so they're going throughout their day doing the same thing that they might have done when they passed away,
Mm.
or do in their home. And those are the ones where we sit there and try to communicate with them, and we can see their actions, or sometimes we'll like see mists and things like that, but they will never interact with us.
Mm.
We get a lot of residual hauntings, where we don't get any evidence of people, or any kind of spirits trying to contact us back. And then, there's actually many, hauntings, different hauntings, but the one that we're always looking for are those that are going to be able to communicate back with us. There's many names for them: an active haunting, or
They're like more playful. They want a reaction.
they want to interact with you, and you can actually ask them to do things, use this energy to reach out to us. And that's where we can get evidence, like on our EMF readings, or they light up a flashlight, and so we know that they are active in wherever they are, and they might try to communicate with us. That's why we set up equipment and then ask them to communicate with us.
And what do
They
they
might
be
be trying to
saying,
send us a
girl?
message.
What are they saying?
They might be trying to tell us something. They might be trying to tell us that they might be trapped somewhere and they need help to get out of their situation. Or yeah, you'd be surprised. You would actually be surprised. And it's not just humans, it can be animals too.
Yeah, you had a cat in your home?
I had a cat, and I
A
had
dead
like
cat?
a greyhound dog in my when I would think about these animals that were, it was like it was a greyhound, big dog. And no, if they were dead, yes, if you're going to feel a spirit, yeah, they're dead. Usually will have passed away.
Do you, like, see it in your mind's eye? Because I know you told me that one story, you were on the toilet and you felt like a cat go over your feet, but it
Over my feet, and it happened again in my old house across my feet when I was in the kitchen. Like a cat with just like a wispy across my feet, like walked across my
and do you
feet.
see it in your mind's eye, like, it's soft like an animal, or you just, like, an image gets conjured up, or how are you
An
not just
image,
like,
an
"That's the
image
AC?"
an image absolutely gets conjured up. And even and it was like a gray cat in my mind as it was doing it. And what was really weird was I had not told Harry about this, and we were on the couch one night, and he said, I just saw something like a cat or something in my mind, like
No way.
in the corner of my eye going down that hallway toward the office. And I said, you did? I said, what was, he was like, it was like a cat. It was like about the size of a cat. I said, what color was it? He said, gray. I said, no way. I said, that's the cat I'm telling you about, that I told him. I had never told him the color, and it walked past my feet. And then I felt the energy of a big dog trapped in my bedroom when I first moved into that house. Like somebody used to keep that dog locked up all the time.
Mm,
And there were scratch marks on the door. So I
mm.
knew something was going on, but in my mind, I saw a greyhound, like an old, retired, big greyhound dog. Now, where would I get that from? It could be any dog in the world. So
Yeah,
I
it's one
did
of
a
those
little
things,
ritual.
yeah, of, like, is it just a trapped energy, or is it actually, why would an animal still inhabit a space like that? It doesn't
Exactly.
what's the
Who
purpose?
knows? But it's like, and why did my mind go there, and either form that image or make it up or whatever it was? It wasn't a shadow image. It was in my mind. I felt the energy. I felt the angst of it. It
Mm.
wasn't a human, and it just. It was like almost like, that third eye, that, you talk about that third eye chakra opening up, and I felt it. So I did. I saged my house, and I opened my door, and I said, y'all can go now. Y'all
Y'all go
can go now.
on!
Y'all
Get!
go on now. Get.
Y'all
And
have
and I
got to
never
stop doing
felt them again.
psychedelics together, I mean it.
And I never felt them again. So,
Huh.
it's what you want to believe. Either that, or you could just certify yourself as cray cray. So
Okay.
either way,
Alright.
it's all good stuff.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you, Mita.
You're welcome. Hopefully, you'll learn some more information too. Let me know if you feel anything in your house.
My house is good. You've told me there might be a grandma here. She's welcome here.
Yeah, you got a nonna there for sure.
That's fine
You
with
got a
me.
grandma.
Okay, great.
All right, you got any more questions? Give me a call. I'm all about talking about Area 51 too.
Okay. Love ya.
Okay then. Love you too. Bye.
Bye.